All right, so I've been trying to think about like what like Breck and I, what our like production turns into, and like we're doing Brecky Breck, but there's definitely like this move towards like refining it and establishing our own thing. And as we're filming Brecky Breck, I'm starting to experiment a little bit with like this behind the scenes look, kind of our energy back and forth as we're filming, producing, engaging with people for the show. And we've been talking about this idea of like this adventures with Breck, where Breck kind of takes the bow off, wears normal clothes and isn't like this character, but is truly like herself interacting with people. She's got good energy for that. And so we've kind of been building this idea of the show, and it's been like pretty like typical Breck's the host, relying on her personality to kind of drive the show. But then just kind of follows the storyline of like a host showcasing different, industries and events and such. And then I was like, man, today I kind of had this realization, like what makes us unique is not just Breck alone, but it's Breck and I together. We have something, our interactions. I think that's the beauty of even the behind the scenes, is you kind of get to see this like wrestle match of like how we put together our different products. And so I was like, man, how cool would it be to have an interaction to where we're actually both like, she's the host and I'm a co-host, while also like filming. And so anyways, I'm like thinking about this idea, and it's like, oh man, it's starting to grow on me. And so I was like, all right, first of all, how would I even do that like logically to where we can still kind of be run and gun? And so I was like, man, so I kind of drew out this like little idea of how I would rig up my camera with maybe a smaller DSLR mirrorless, like pointed back at me, and then have me mic'd up as well. And so rather than like when I kind of interact right now with Brecky Breck, like I kind of pause the footage, I cut all that stuff out, but like we could almost have it be to where that's still a part of the video, and almost kind of shows this raw element of us, like, or Breck will say something or do something silly, and it'll cut to me, like kind of like roll my eyes or something silly like that. Or like it'll show us problem solving something, in the field or interacting. And then what it does too is it's like sometimes what will happen with Brecky Breck is we'll be interacting with someone, and then like I'll feed her a question to ask, the interviewee in that situation. But in this particular setup, it could be something where I also get to ask that question, and so it ends up being kind of a co-directed interview or interaction. So anyway, I thought, man, that's so unique, because that's not something you typically see. A lot of times you just kind of rely on the strength of the individual host character to kind of drive the character of the show. But if you spin it a little bit, you can almost use the interaction for what we're doing to kind of be that. And it almost has like kind of a fun dynamic to it that is almost allows us to kind of be a little more raw with the cut. So I could even like show, one thing I was thinking is like kind of break the fourth wall a little bit. I'll be able to like look at the camera, I'll be able to kind of show almost vlog style, I'll like have a GoPro setup, and it'll show me recording Breck, recording them. So it almost has this like Inception feel to it while we're doing it, but it almost brings it back to reality of like what we're doing, how we're capturing it in the moment. And then even like the way I cut it, it's like maybe we're kind of building music to kind of cut to this awesome like drone shot. But like right before I cut to the drone shot, I like have a GoPro shot that's like here, and then you legit see me like holding my remote and then launch the drone right before it cuts to that shot. And so it's just showing like how it's almost showing the behind the scenes in the actual product too. Anyway, so I really like this idea, and it sounds like a lot of fun, and that's like a project that I think I would really enjoy working on, and it would give us, it still showcase kind of the uniqueness of what Breck brings to the table, while also bringing kind of my uniqueness in a little bit more. And I feel like that's really what kind of separates what Breck and I have, is our teamwork. It's not just one of us by ourselves. So being able to kind of show that in a show, I think would be really fun, and still be something that's like, can be educational, can be fun and interactive. People can kind of, fall in love with Breck or I, our personalities individually. Maybe some of, the people that watch the show don't care for my bits as much or her bits as much, but when you get to kind of see the interaction a little bit more, it kind of helps spread that out. And what I was thinking is like, it'd be fun to launch Breck's show and channel and then introduce me as a character down the road. But I'm like, why would we do that if we're already interacting together? Why not just start it from the beginning? And it's still Breck's show, but it's like I'm a part of it from the beginning. So anyway, just an idea, but I just like, man, it'd be really fun to figure out how to get something like this started. And I think that's something I could see really taking off and being unique and almost being kind of its own. It's like a new, it's like the next step of this blend of YouTube interview to like the traditional documentary style interview, and it's kind of blending it a little bit more, even more into the interaction of the producing side and directing side and capturing side. So anyway, I like this idea. I'd love to explore this a little bit more. I just wanted to kind of document me, I don't know, chewing on this a little bit. So